Hi guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So they're back with a brand new series, which I'm going to be calling the Wild Rift Supplementary Guides. So, now what is the Wild Rift Supplementary Guides? Basically, it's sort of a supplementary video to a complete guide where I do a different build of that same character. So now this is different from a commentary guide where it's either like a primer or like a post commentary guide follow-up on that same build and that same character, but this one is different. It's after I've done a complete guide, I want to showcase another gameplay of the same character but using a completely different build. So it's also different from like something where like Lucian, where I'm Lucian and where I update my build. Like I used to use the Essence Reaver build and now I use the Navori Quickblades build. That's different. That's updating the build. But this one is sort of two different builds. So an example could be, of course, what we have here, which is Misfortune. Another example could be like a, for example, if I do Cannon, we could have like an AP Cannon, then we could have like a supplementary video on like an AD Cannon, for example. So it's sort of like a different build for the same character that also works. So for today, we're going to cover Lethality Misfortune, and the screen you've been looking at is my history and rank. So the game after the Kazakhs game is actually this gameplay that I'm going to show you guys. It's another Misfortune game. As you guys can see from what we have here, obviously Misfortune is not the best AD carry in the meta at the moment. However, she can be still made to work. So I have like racked up quite a number of victories with Lethality Misfortune. As you guys can see, the game that you see in the middle of your screen already kind of gives you an idea of what the build is going to look like. But anyways, you know, with the intro and all the explanation out of the way, let's go talk about the build now. Okay, so here we have the build for Lethality Misfortune. So the one we covered last time was on Crit Misfortune, but now we're going to take a look at Lethality. Now, first item you build on Misfortune is the Mana Mune. Now, Misfortune uses a lot of spells in lane, like she spams her Q and spams her E very often, which firstly lets you charge up the Mana Mune, secondly is high mana consumption, so the Mana Mune will help with the mana problems, and when you evolve the Mana Mune into the Muramana, the on-hit damage, especially on your Q, is going to be very, very insane damage. You guys will see it in the gameplay later. Now, of course, being a Lethality build, we go for the Youmuu's Ghostblade Nyx. Now, this will give us AD ability haste, as well as the movement speed that we need to get around the map quickly. Now, the Youmuu's Ghostblade passive combined with her Strut passive will allow you to rotate incredibly quickly, and you guys will see it in the gameplay later as well. The rotations are insane. Now, next we go for the Gluttonous Greaves, just because we have no other forms of healing other than the Gluttonous Greaves, as well as our Hunter Vampirism. Next, we actually go for Serelda's Grudge. Now, I have tested it with the new Grudge nerf. Most of the time when you finish building Serelda's Grudge, you will be roughly level 12 to level 13. Sometimes if you are like very fed and you get it quickly, maybe level 11. But basically, it's going to be in the like level 11 to level 13 kind of range. So in general, it's not too bad. So after you get the Grudge, a few levels later, you will have reached the maximum 30% armor penetration after the latest nerf. But overall, it isn't really an issue. So with that, after that, we go for the Duskblade. Now, in all honesty, the order of building Ghostblade, Duskblade, and the Serelda's Grudge kind of can be rotated around. Like, I wouldn't really be opposed to having like Serelda's Grudge as my second item for the slows, just that of course the percentage armor penetration is gonna be less because you get it earlier and you're a lower level. But this is the build that I like to go for, which is the movement speed first, the slow second, and then the damage last. But some people could also go for the Duskblade as your second item because the damage you get from Duskblade is insane. So next we go for Duskblade, which of course does give us more damage. Like when we go, like when we are unseen, we do get a bonus damage, which also combines very nicely with the on-hit damage of the Mana Mune. So when you come out of vision, you Q someone, and the damage they take is going to be absolutely insane. And lastly, we go for Guardian Angel, of course, for the revive. And normally for the boot enchant, you generally go for stasis because you're very immobile of an AD carry, no dashes at all. But you can also go for the Quicksilver if you guys want to. Technically, Proto Belt is an option as well, but I don't really recommend it. And of course, for the runes, as shown, is the same as what we covered in the complete guide. And the spells, of course, heal or barrier with flash. And yeah, with that out of the way, on to the gameplay. Alright. So moving on to the gameplay, and of course, if you guys have yet to check out the Miss Fortune complete guide, I will link it up in the cards above, so check out the main Miss Fortune complete guide video as well. And of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, I want to encourage you guys to post any questions you have in the comments. I do realize that I haven't actually ever been saying this, but most comments I get is not really questions. It's sort of like, nice video, good job, which of course I do appreciate. But I would like to help you guys by answering any questions you may have. So any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. So now in this lane matchup, we're actually against a Lucian and a Braum, which is, on one hand, it's a very aggressive bot lane because Lucian can proc Braum's passive very, very easily. On the other hand, we do have kind of an advantage with Nami and Miss Fortune's poke because Lucian is short range and Braum is melee. So we do have a poke advantage, but in an all-in, we are at a disadvantage. So it's sort of like a poke lane versus a kill lane sort of matchup. So generally, Miss Fortune and Nami should be favored in this matchup in general. So now, a thing I of course need to cover is when do you go for the lethality build and when do you go for the crit build. Now in general, if their team is incredibly squishy or you want to burst down particular people, you go for the lethality build. And if their team is like tanky in general, you want to go for the crit build. So for example, a crit build kind of team might be, let's say, a Jarvan in the top lane, a Shyvana in the jungle, let's say a normal AP mid lane, let's say Twisted Fate mid lane, then we have like, let's say a Lucian AD carry, and let's say a Leona support. So there is like two like fighters in the top lane and in the jungle, and a tank in the support role. So here you would normally go for crit Miss Fortune, but if the team is squishy, you go for lethality Miss Fortune. So here we have a Diana, a Xin Zhao, a Kali, and a Lucian. So Xin Zhao as a fighter can get tanky in the later stages of the game, but in the early stages he's still pretty squishy, and the only tank in the team is Braum. Now of course the best case scenario for going for lethality Miss Fortune is of course if the whole team has no tanks or fighters, but that's of course very unlikely. So generally you'll see at least one tank, like in this case it's the Braum, so it's like one tank, one fighter, and three non-tank and non-fighters. I don't really count Diana as a fighter because she's still pretty squishy, doesn't go for any kind of defensive build. So basically in this particular game, even in later on you will see that Xin Zhao actually doesn't end up building any armor at all, so, which only benefits me. But you will realize that if assuming he did go for like let's say a Guardian Angel early and he has armor, we are still incredibly effective against Lucian, Akali, and Diana. And in that team, the most likely carries are going to be Lucian, Akali, and Diana. So we are likely going to be able to shred through their three main carries, be it Lucian, Diana, or Akali. So Akali and Lucian, of course, very high carry potential, same for Diana. So in this game, really good to go for lethality just because of how easy it's going to be for us to kill them. Of course, lethality Miss Fortune versus crit Miss Fortune. Lethality Miss Fortune does way more damage against squishy targets, but crit Miss Fortune in general to all targets does more consistent damage, like towards tanks and all. So yeah, so versus a squishy target, of course, better to go for lethality builds, which is what we're doing here. So of course we start out with a Sapphire Crystal and go into tier to try to stack it up for our mana mune and also to get the mana we need in lane to sustain. Here we see that Braum actually isn't in lane, so we actually tried to bully Lucian a little bit, but of course this is high elo. We're playing in like a diamond game, so of course everybody here knows what's going on, so Lucian is not stupid enough to step up too far such that we can, do anything to threaten him. He's just sitting back and actually just picking up his farm. Now in this game, my team is also going to be falling quite far behind, and you guys will see how Miss Fortune can bring the game back and just how strong Miss Fortune really is. Now in my next tier list, I may move Miss Fortune up because really playing Miss Fortune for quite a number of matches has kind of changed my perception of Miss Fortune. I do think she's actually not all that bad, because if I can play her and get victories at a diamond level, you know, probably it does mean that she is at least not too bad of an AD carry. But as I said in all my tier list videos before, all AD carries are honestly viable in the current meta, like Tristana, Jhin, Miss Fortune, and all that. I'll try my best to see if I can bring out some videos on the less popular AD carries, like maybe Jhin, let's say, or Ashe. You know, we shall see how it goes. But here, the two teams actually make a trade. We trade Herald for Rift. We trade Dragon for Rift Herald. So enemy team picks up the Rift Herald and puts it at top, and meanwhile we pick up the Dragon. Here a fight is going on, and in the river, I try to ult and get a pick there, but doesn't really happen. Here Lucian's alone, so I'm just getting as much damage as possible onto him. Braum comes and they turn for the fight. Braum sends his ult to Timbuktu. No idea where he was aiming there. Lucian ulting Nami, and as a result, I just step to the side, focus the Lucian, and get him. Braum rotates, and I actually get a double kill onto the Braum as well. So really looking pretty good for me at the moment. So Nami actually survives as well. So basically we traded, you know, 2 for 0 there, which is of course a very ideal situation. I had to of course put myself in a very dangerous position, standing at the side to avoid the Braum shield and actually hit the Lucian, but it was fine because both Braum and Lucian were hard focusing the Nami. They were committed onto the Nami, and none of them were actually attacking me, so that was fine. It's a good, in my opinion, it's a pretty good choice in positioning, just because they did not focus me at all. Of course, the optimal move there would be to turn and focus me instead, but they didn't do that. So, all's good in this scenario. So, of course, I'm going to try to poke them as much as possible with my Q and my E as well. E doesn't really do a lot of poke damage, but still a decent amount. Of course, when I have the Braum passive on me, I'm going to have to back off, because anytime they proc the Braum passive, I'm going to be losing the trade, or even worse, losing my life. So playing against a Lucian Braum, if Braum has his passive on you, there's no way you can fight, because you're gonna instantly get stunned. Of course, unless you're super duper fed against them, but if not, there's no way you can fight them. When Lucian procs the stun, they get way too much free damage, so it's not really gonna work out. So here, of course, Lucian has pretty high wave clear, but Miss Fortune's wave clear is also pretty good as well. Of course, they didn't nerf Miss Fortune's wave clear eons ago when Miss Fortune was meta, but her wave clear is honestly still pretty decent. Of course, not as good as it once was in yesteryear, but you know, it's still fine. Here we actually stop Braum from backing, and Nami does the same, and Braum actually in the end doesn't actually manage to back, because the fact that he showed up here means he didn't actually manage to back, which is job well done from us. Braum doesn't get to go back, get resources, or get items, so it's all good. Here I actually tried to bait them in here because I wanted to ult them in this choke point with the Nami ult as well. But turns out they don't actually take so much damage, and Nami gets insta-bursted by the Braum and the Lucian. So the trap sort of failed, unfortunately. So yeah, because I knew that the moment we walked up into the river, they would try to follow and go onto us. So I was of course on voice comms on the Nami. So I was saying that we walk into the river and we set a trap for them, in a sense that I ult and you ult, we both ult together. They're caught in the Misfortune ult, but Misfortune ult apparently doesn't do as much damage as I expected, and Lucian just has way more burst than I do, so it doesn't really work out here. Unfortunately, you know, we actually lose the tower as well, so it's gone from a bad situation to a worse one. So honestly, nothing too much we can do about it. We she died. I had to recall and couldn't really defend the tower. So there goes our beloved tower. Can't really do too much. Both of them actually have bone plane. Here they actually get baited by the Akali coming in, and even though they're relatively low, we actually managed to I actually managed to get a double kill on both of them, and Akali actually doesn't really do anything to really salvage the situation, unfortunately. So they actually got baited by their Akali's roam and tried to go in on us, but to no avail, to say the least. Here Brand is in on the party as well. We push into their tower. I was thinking of going away, but I was thinking we can force the tower. So here I'm just forcing the tower. Akali trying her best to defend the tower, but not too much she can do. Nami gets the bubble onto the Akali, and we're gonna try to burst on the Akali if at all possible. Nami ults, and we unfortunately don't get the Akali. Me and Nami walk by the safe way, but Braum goes by the very dangerous way, and somehow actually escapes with his life, actually. So here, picking up yet another kill onto the Diana. We're unstoppable now. And TP coming in from the who was it? The Akali? Yeah, I do believe it was the Akali. Here I sidestep the entire Lucian out. Lucian bursting me, and I'm gone, dying to the Xin Zhao. Fortunately, I'm a very immobile AD carry, and if I get caught, I'm not going to be getting out. So Xin Zhao gets a triple kill. Not a very good situation for our team. And the TP on Akali is actually a pretty surprising choice because most Akalis would go for Zanya so they can Zanya's in the middle of their combo, but she decided to go for TP for, you know, the greater map pressure, which in this scenario did work out. But I do think it's a pretty strange choice. Now at this time I'm 5-1 and 0. I have my evolved Mirror Mana, and I also have my Ghost Blade. So, and I also have my Zanya's Hourglass. So at this point in time, I'm doing pretty well for myself. 2 full items completed, as well as evolved, and also got my safety tool now in my Stasis enchant. So things are looking golden. Now my next huge power spike is of course when I get my next item, which is the Sorela's Grudge. Sorela's Grudge is very, very strong on Misfortune because when you use your East slow, you double up on the slow with the Sorela's Grudge, and also when you ult people, they will get slowed and it's way harder to escape your ult. Sometimes it forces a flash out of your ult, and sometimes it nets you an extra kill just because they simply cannot walk out of your ult. So Sorela's Grudge is really a very good item on Misfortune. The synergy is insane. Here I out over the wall in conjunction with Nami out. There goes the Diana. Akali comes in and Xin Zhao comes in as well. I kill the Akali. Now I stasis, kill the Braum. Now here, I made a misplay here, so Xin Zhao is backing off. I was gonna wait for his ult to actually run out before I flash in to kill him, but instead of, I dragged my flash to the cancel button, but apparently it was a little bit off the cancel button because I ended up flashing for it instead, which allowed him to re-engage onto me and kill me, and I still had my barrier up as well. So even though I messed up there, I could have actually gotten the kill if I managed to barrier in time, but his burst was a little bit too fast and I didn't react fast enough with the barrier. But that rightfully would have been a kill for me, which would have gave me a quadra kill. So really unfortunate that we died there. Yeah, but you know, it is what it is, and we pick up the last Whisper and a longsword, getting ever so slightly closer to our Sorela's Grudge. Here I'm of course pretty fat, 8 and 2. I want to get the red buff, but Amumu just smites it away as I show up to the red buff pit. So I guess I'm not gonna be able to get that red buff. Amumu does not want to give it to me, at least for now. So yeah, not too pleased by that. So yeah, here we go. So at this point in time, we are very ahead of everybody on the enemy team except the Xin Zhao. So here, many of the enemy teams there are just trying to out and get off as much damage as possible. Braum blocks quite a bit of the damage, but we kill the Akali, kill the Braum. Diana outs, but Diana honestly isn't really that painful. Like, her ult did a decent amount of damage, but not an absurd amount, so still alright. We turn, get the kill onto the Braum as well. So really nice. We're now up to 10, 2, and 3, which is of course a pretty good KDA when we're up to 11k gold. The next highest gold in the game is actually Diana, who actually has her 3 core items. So of course I assume she picked up her death cap after she died, but I don't know why she's not doing too much damage with her Rod of Ages and her forgot what the item was called. With her Rod of Ages and the Nash's Tooth. Yep, finally it's come to me. The Rod of Ages and Nash's Tooth, she should be doing a decent amount of damage, but it doesn't really seem to be the case. But yeah. So anyways, my team is still 2k gold behind. We used to be even more behind, if you guys noticed just now. I just didn't point it out, but we're sort of trying to catch up again. 3 people have hit more than 10k gold on the enemy team, whereas on my team only I'm at 11k gold. So things really not looking too good for my team as in the big picture, I guess you could say. So here I'm just gonna clear out the minion wave, prep for the Infernal Dragon spawn. It's gonna be a little bit messy here because the enemy team is grouped up and my team is sort of not grouped up, so I don't really know what's happening here. Xin Zhao actually engages, which is quite a bad move on his part. I have my Sorela's Grudge and another Serrated Dirk, so I did manage to slow him. And here we all walk to the front of the Dragon Pit, but Nami and Amumu goes the other way around the back of the Dragon Pit, so our team is completely disjointed, and yeah, it just doesn't really work out. So Nami is ulting, I ult trying to get the kill on the Diana. Xin Zhao ults in and cancels my ult. He stasis as well. Nice hook by the Darius. Xin Zhao dies. Diana dies right as she's trying to ult. And everybody just dies. Lucian dies. Before picking up a double kill. And yeah, we ace them. I get a double kill. Brand gets a triple kill. And we get the dragon as well. So, good team fight. I mean, we have a Brand and we have a Misfortune. Two huge team fight ultimates. It is pretty hard for the enemy team. And we also have an Amumu, a third huge team fight ultimate. Really hard for the enemy team to really get a very good team fight off with us. And of course, yes, in case you guys were wondering, I did pick MF because there was an Amumu in my match. So, I had to go for the MF. And there was a Brand as well. So, triple wombo combo ultimate in the team fight is just too insane. Although on the enemy team there is like a Braum Akali, not Braum Akali, a Braum Diana kind of combo there as well, and could be technically comboed with like a Lucian ult as well. So yeah, so here I have picked up my Dust Blade as well and going towards the Guardian Angel. I'm actually pinging for the red buff, and Amumu actually gives it over this time. So thank you Amumu for that. And yeah, so we're nearly at full build. We have everything except our Guardian Angel, so everything's going all good here. Here I'm just going to clear out the minion wave in the mid lane. And it appears that a fight might be breaking out in the top lane, so I'm rotating over. Alright, so we catch the Xin Zhao and the Lucian. Xin Zhao and the Braum, sorry, who is trying to rotate to the fight as well. And we actually managed to find a pick under the Xin Zhao. Here I'm just pinging for Barry because Xin Zhao just died, Diana just died, and we have essentially what's likely to be a free Baron, but they decide to chase the Braum, who really isn't very valuable when it comes to this particular situation. Baron is the play here. So here, trying to ult them over the wall to try to get off some damage. Doesn't really work out. They're coming around the pit. Lucian trying to go for a steal. Akali trying to go for a steal as well. Amumu smites it like he should. He stasis to avoid the Akali burst. Ults to CC the Akali, who clearly is going to get caught in the ult because the ult is bigger than the Akali donut. So here I go for a flash over, auto attack, and E the Akali for the kill. And yeah, we score. It's not an ace because the Xin Zhao and Diana respawn, but we score what is an unofficial ace. Here comes Xin Zhao. I slow him down. And yeah, we're just going to take the tower. Darius actually gets a pull onto the Xin Zhao, but can't really follow up because Xin Zhao ulted, so I cannot actually damage him unless I walk into melee range, which I don't really want to do at all. So I'm just going to leave him be. Here we're just going to go for the mid tower as well, as they're trying to stave off the minions at the top lane. So here I pick up the mid tower, and we're just going to recall and reset and pick up our Guardian Angel and reach full build. There we go. So now I've reached full build. I'm at 17k gold, and no one else is even remotely close to me. Like after me, it's probably the Diana, who is at 14k gold, but no one is really close to me. I'm getting really fat. 12, 2, and 9. You guys can see the utter raw damage and power of the Lethality Misfortune. Probably see it again really soon when I blow someone up instantly. Alright, so we see a couple of enemies grouped up in the mid lane. We're trying to set a trap. Braum falls into the trap and we destroy the Braum despite him being a tank. I actually getting the wave as well as a huge chunk of damage onto, I believe it was maybe the Lucian, I'm not too sure. Here Diana gets caught in no man's land, tries to go into ult us in desperation, but of course she can do nothing at this point in time. And we're just going to go for the end here. Nothing much the enemies can do. Picking up, of course, a last couple of kills under Xin Zhao and onto the Akali before the game ends. So, beautiful ending to the game. Scoring an ace, ending the game, doing lovely as Misfortune. So here, of course, as usual, we have the stats. Of course, we got an S. And if you guys look at it, look at all those trophies. And better than 99.4% of Misfortunes. So that's utterly insane. So thank you guys for watching the video, and goodbye.